whatever's resonating with you, not what you see online. Follow that intuition of yours and just
Mhm.
run with it, go with it. Don't make it complicating. Start with a 10-minute yoga flow if yoga feels called to you. Maybe it's Pilates. Just start.
Welcome to the Be It Till You See It podcast, where we talk about taking messy action, knowing that perfect is boring. I'm Lesley Logan, Pilates instructor and fitness business coach. I've trained thousands of people around the world, and the number one thing I see stopping people from achieving anything is self-doubt. My friends, action brings clarity, and it's the antidote to fear. Each week, my guests will bring bold, executable, intrinsic, and targeted steps that you can use to put yourself first and be it till you see it. It's a practice, not a perfect. Let's get started. Hey, Be It Babe. All right, today's conversation is such a lovely window in taking a long journey and things not happening fast, but still happening for you. We have a really great guest today. Her name is Meghan Pherrill. She is the host of the Balance Your Life podcast. And I really love all the different topics we talked about in today's episode. We talk about being a new mom, but we also talk about like the basics of meditation and like how to get started with that. And how does one go from like kind of not knowing what to do or what to do with their time and what to be to having this really beautiful life that's built around all the things that they like and that make them feel like them. So I'm really excited for you to hear this journey. It's authentic and it's not perfect. And it's exactly what we need to be doing. And we think about like, what do we want in our lives? So here is Meghan Pherrill. All right, Be It Babe. I'm excited because I've already had a wonderful conversation with our guest today. And I was like, oh, I really want to keep this conversation going. And we are over here on my podcast. So the host of Balance Your Life podcast with Meghan Pherrill is our guest today. Meghan Pherrill, you tell everyone who you are and what you rock at.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you for the intro. I feel like I should have you doing all of my intro calls there. My name is Meghan Pherrill. I am the creator and kind of the leading force behind Balance by Meghan. It's an online brand, podcast. I do all the things that's just really meant to help you inspired, be empowered to begin and maintain your own wellness journey so you can be the best version of yourself. I have a top Canadian podcast, which I'm very proud of. And yeah, I do yoga retreats, I do workshops. I've taken a little bit of a hiatus just while I raise my little kiddo over here, but that's really kind of my jam, my jelly and jam there is
I
what
love,
I do.
oh man, that's so fun. Okay, but I have to, so I wonder, like, was your life always balanced? Like, did you, like, how did, like, was the wellness journey like always easy for you? Is this like something that just came easy or did it come because like of things in your life that you needed to find it? I would love to hear how you kind of got into this.
Well, it's like I always say when people ask me this, I'm like, how much time do you actually have for this podcast?
Yeah.
Because balance was like the least, it was like not a word in my vocabulary. Wellness, like kind of a joke. I always think it's too like it's ironic that I teach these things because I was that girl who lived on chicken fingers and fries. Corn was like my vegetable of choice, and like you were lucky if you got some carrots into me. Greens were just not happening. I was diagnosed really, really young with obsessive compulsive disorder and depression and anxiety. I had also been in and out of the hospital since the day I was born with asthma, like just it was not uncommon for me to be hospitalized once a month with like severe asthma attacks where I was on prednisone all the time, puffers all the time. It was just part of my life. And there was a catalyst in my life where I had also been like sexually abused by my uncle. This is like taking a dark turn and always like to me,
I,
you're such
that,
a light and like so vibrant. And I'm like, this just gets real dark real
it's
fast.
okay, Megan. I actually,
Um,
if I'm fine with us continuing to go that path because I actually think that it would be a shame for us to just like paint the picture that was so easy for you. And I just want to say thank you for already sharing like the OCD and the depression and the anxiety because I actually think a lot of people who listen to this have one of those things and it's held them back in some way. So thank you. And it's okay. I'm sure we'll get light again. So
yeah, it's like it's one of those things that I think for me when I look back on my life, I go, I wish there had been somebody like me that I could have been like, there's a beam, there's a beacon of hope because I felt so lost. And I just it got really to the point of like where I thought, okay, either this is life and this sucks and I'm going to end it, or I do see people around me thriving. Like I'm just going to, give it a shot and try to be happy. And there were many things that kind of led down this path. I did cognitive behavioral therapy, which was good. It helped me in the moment. I was put on antidepressants and anti-anxiety medication. Again, helped me in the moment, helped stop the suicidal thoughts, but I never really felt alive. I was
Yeah.
consistently sleeping. It was not uncommon for me to have 2 or 3 hour naps a day, to sleep easily 12 hours a day. Like I don't even know how I did school. I was just constantly sleeping all the time. I was just so zonked from those meds. And somehow I had a boyfriend and he ended up breaking up with me. And it was for me, I was like life cannot get any lower than this. This sucks. And it was just like this wake up call where I thought, okay, I'm doing all these OCD tendencies to prevent things like this from happening, but it's still happening. Even though, like, in hindsight, I'm like, the guy was a total loser. I can't believe I even
Isn't
dated
it
him.
really funny that when we look
But
back at
at
the
the time, it was just like
oh, I
devastating,
know.
especially since he left me for another girl. And I was like,
Yes. I hear you. I feel
uh,
like every time like we like there's something about like young love and you're like, this is the most important thing. And it's like, what was I doing? That guy is an
I know,
asshole.
I know. And even now, I'm like, oh my God. But I was like, I'm not doing it anymore.
Mm.
Like, I'm not doing my OCD tendencies, which I have been in studies for OCD and they are just blown away by the fact that almost overnight I stopped, I would say 80% of them. I still had a couple that I kept, and we're talking like weird things for me. Like before I could sit down comfortable on a couch, I would have to stand up, sit down 6 times. I would have to check all my books 42 times. Just like really weird things for
Also, but
me.
just time consuming and so
It's
fascinating that like you could have this like, hold on, I was doing all this so bad things would happen and bad things happened. And I do know that like there's like wonderful exposure scientific studies on some OCD happenings. Like I've heard like you go to these places and they help expose you to the thing and like so I do want to highlight like there's that, but how amazing that so many of them could just like your brain could just go because our brains don't like to be in dissonance, right? So it
Mhm.
sounds like your brain was like, "Hold on, this does it's not supposed to happen
It
and it
doesn't make
happened."
sense. Yeah.
So
You're doing
wow.
all these things. These things are still happening. Like, what's the point? Like light switches on, off, on. Like, and so I just stopped most of them. There were still some up until like I would say even like 5 years ago. Like I was very much like the 2 minute brush my teeth person, not a minute before, not a minute after. That one I kept for a little bit. But I'm like, it's good hygiene. But I stopped and I really thought, okay, I need to really focus on myself. Like I put all this energy into this
Mm.
relationship. I changed myself so this person liked me and
Mhm.
it didn't work. So I really was going to just start working on myself. And I stayed on my medication for a little while. It wasn't until I met my now husband, but my boyfriend at the time. We had just come back from a vacation, which was a huge deal for me to be able to go away, napped most of it, but still came home, found out my grandfather was dying from lung cancer.
Mm.
And that rocked my world. He got, he went downhill really fast. I like, he was everything to me. I absolutely adored the man. And during that time, during my grieving, I forgot to take some of my medication for a few days. And my boyfriend was like, Brad, like you can do this. He had been on the medication for like a month and he was like, F this sucks. He said, I'm gonna be there with you. And I was like, I'm gonna be like a raging bitch. Like, sorry, I hope I can swear on
You
this.
can.
And he was like, no, like I've got this. We're gonna do it together. So I don't suggest doing this. My doctor was incredibly disappointed with
Yeah.
me
I do think
on
you're
a high
supposed to
dose, just
like
like
talk through
overnight.
people. Yeah, you're supposed to like wean yourself off. And I will
Yeah.
say like I think that when you need it, medication for it can be so helpful because we definitely
Yes.
want to stop any thoughts that could hit in someone's life. But I do agree with you and your boyfriend that I think long term we don't have a lot of information that for everybody it's the best thing. So yes, I'm glad you're stipulating that doctors would recommend you like have a conversation about getting off.
Yeah, yeah, he was just like, "What?" I was like, "Well, it's been like a month now, so I'm not going back on them." And it was hard, like, I went through withdrawal,
Hmm.
but I slowly started to feel like myself again, and the biggest thing was I wasn't napping anymore, and I had
Mm.
all this time on my hand, and I was like, what do I do with myself now?" And
Now that I'm
that is really
awake for
tough.
the sunlight.
I know. I was just like, "What is this? This is sun in the sky?" That's really how I got into yoga, and that's really what started my deep dive into holistic health and wellness, and I'm still, like, to this day, like, I'm a yogi through and through. I do other things now, like, I weight train, I do Pilates, but I'm like, yoga is always my base and what I come
Yeah.
back to, and my parents are, like, not they kinda they're interested in my stuff, but they're like, "I don't understand why we can't have the processed hot dog buns for dinner."
Yeah.
Like, it's just not really their vibe, but yeah, it's been a long journey, but it's funny, like, I was thinking about how my life has changed so much since then, and I'm like, I can't even believe the person I used to be to who I am now."
Yeah. I also just want to highlight it sounds like by focusing on taking care of yourself, that's how you know, found what you wanted and what you want to do. I think like, you know, so many people are so focused on the other people around them, making sure that they're happy and they're cared for and they're loved. And then they put themselves last. And it's like actually when we kind of get a little self focused, we actually can truly find ourselves in a way that we can be the best person for the people that are our lives. Like even if your parents don't like that you won't eat the hot dog bun, they have more of you now than when you weren't focusing on yourself.
Yeah, yeah, it was and it doesn't have to be a lot, like, it was just very much I'd come home from work and Brad would know I'm doing a little bit of yoga. It was like 20 or 30 minutes, but that was my time for myself, and, I mean, people could just see the difference and the change in me, and they were like, Go ahead, like, go
Yeah.
do what needs to be done." So, yeah, that's kinda how I found myself in this position.
Yeah. Okay. So can we talk a little about like the timeline of the journey? Because obviously, like we heard about the month of the antidepressant release, but like how long did it take you to get a yoga practice and then also then discover that you wanted to teach it and then get to where you are? Like we're talking years, we're talking months. Like I've got these overachiever perfectionists who are listening, like, okay, so I just need to like do this for a few days and then I'm gonna be good. Like what's the what was the timeline?
Yeah, it was I see this it was a long journey, not to be discouraging, but to know, like, that for me, that was my truth. I started off simply with 20 minutes of yoga. I think I committed to, like, 3, maybe 4. I think it was just 3 days a week. It's like, "This is it. This is all I'm gonna do," just to see
I actually
how does
love
it make
that.
me feel.
Thank you for saying it was long, and thank you and it shouldn't be discouragement, it's just honest, like, I think a lot of times, the days are long, but the years are short, and, like, if
Mhm.
I can't believe I've been doing Pilates for 20 years, like, I was just like, "Whoa, I've been doing this for 20 I've been out of college for 20 years." Like, because it feels like just yesterday I was, like, doing X, Y, and Z, and I'm working so hard on things, it's like, "Oh, no, actually, I've achieved a ton," and it did take a long time to get that runway going. But it's just an amazing thing that, like, once you set the time aside, you're doing 3 days a week, you're doing 20 minutes at a time, and then it gets better, and people give you more time, and then you get more time. Like, it compounds, and then all of a sudden, it's like things happen a little bit faster in the wellness journey,
Mhm.
because you've built a strong foundation.
Yes, yeah, and it's funny because people will often look at me now and see everything that I do. I do, like, holistic health, I do, quote, unquote, "biohacks," like cold plunging, we were talking about that on my
Mhm.
podcast. That didn't happen month 3 or 6, like, that was year how long have I been doing that? Like, year 7, I got into that stuff. Like, it was really, really slow. I did yoga for, like, 5 years before I even tried a different type of exercise, like and it was just natural to me to go, "Okay, like, I feel like I'm ready for the next level of whatever, Pilates, weight training." It was Pilates next. But even, like, my food journey, even now, I'm really religious about eating really clean, nourishing myself. It started off super basic, was like, "Can I just get more vegetables into my diet?" That was it. I wasn't looking like, did not drop the whole wheat bread at first. was still probably eating chicken nuggets, but it was like, okay, can I just introduce a couple new vegetables into my diet? And from there we'll go forward. Like I'm sure you see this too. Sometimes people message me and they're like, these vegetables are gonna kill me. Spinach is anti-nutrient. I'm gonna die if I eat it. And it's like, no wonder people feel so overwhelmed to start anything. You can read or look at anybody and see, oh, eat spinach. It's a superpower. Eat spinach and die the next day. Like I
Oh
I
my
think
God.
it's
I'm like, am
overwhelming.
I hearing this for the first time? Because I really like a spinach. I'm gonna be really honest. I like a spinach. I like a mixed green. I don't like a romaine. I'm not gonna do an iceberg. Like, but like it's true. Like, I think where people get confused is that there's so many people out there that are mixing the messaging and also not good information sometimes, like,
Mhm.
where we live in the States. I got served something the other day and on my socials, and I'm like, I'm gonna report this because this is not according to science. Like, we actually do have science, guys. It does work. And there is some incredible now for different bodies, there's different
Mhm.
things. And like, by the way, there's a great book that's so old, but it's called The Plant Paradox. And if you really want to understand plants, it's so informative. Like, if you take one thing away, it's like, oh, if plants grow in rows, they have more poison to them. So you might have to cook them or do different things so your body can digest them versus the plants that like to their babies fly and be free. They're less poisonous. You can eat them however you want. Versus if you're from the southern hemisphere versus European descent, like there's different plants and we digest them differently. And I think the problem is that so many people are outsourcing how something feels in their body to someone else's opinion versus like, well, if you eat the spinach and you feel really good, is it is it bad for you?
I'm the same. I just like I just finished that book 2 or 3 books ago. And same thing, I was like, all of this makes so much sense. Plants are living organisms. Of course, they have things that deter us from eating it. But I'm sure as I'm like reading it too, I'm like, I also feel like this guy, like, do you go out for food? Like, you know what?
Yeah.
I would eat something that makes me feel sick. But at the same time, like some of these people, they're like, oh, I like yes, there's no place, right, for consuming seed oils on a daily basis. But if I'm in a restaurant and they're like, "Sorry, this is how we make our things," and I'm surrounded by friends and family, I'm gonna ask if they can do something different. But if they're like, "We absolutely can't, like, this is how it is," it's okay. Like,
Yeah.
putting more stress on my body about eating that is going to cause more damage than just enjoying myself once in a while like that and just living your
I
life.
I also think that's the balance, right? Like,
Mhm,
I think it's a little like to me that perfectionism, that control of like it has to be a certain way when I go out. No, I'm going out. It's like I'm going to someone else's kitchen and this is how they prepared it.
mhm,
And if I don't like that, I can not go. I can ask people what's the after dinner party look like. I can do my research beforehand. Like because I've had food sensitivities, I am used to looking at the menus ahead of time doing my
mhm.
research ahead of time. So when I'm there, I can go, I'll take this thing because what I don't want is the whole dinner to be about what I can and can't or won't eat because then I'm not actually getting to know the people I'm with. I'm busy like talking about like why you shouldn't have seed oils. I don't want to be that person. That's not who I want to be at the dinner table. It's not my thing. And so like I think people do have to have some sort of balance. And when I was on an elimination diet years ago, I was trying to figure out what's wrong with my stomach. I went to a ton of places and I just said, oh, what time is dinner? I'll meet you guys for dessert. And then I would have tea because every restaurant has tea, right? And so you can do different things to like still be part of society. And I think that's the balance part of it. And then understanding like, a little bit of something isn't going to kill you unless it's going to kill you. Like, unless you're allergic to shellfish, like that will kill you. But if you're just one of those like sensitive people, like either choose to not do it or just do it and like be kind to yourself the next day when you're a little more inflamed. Just know that's going to happen.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, my son has a bunch of food allergies, so I've really opened my eyes up to that. And sometimes it's simply like I will message people and say, "Just so you know, I'm calling the restaurant to see if I can bring some food for my son." Or at the time, like I'm still nursing, so there was a lot of things, and we're talking like anaphylactic food
Yeah.
allergies. So not just like he gets a little bit of hives. It's like he might die.
Yeah, yeah, which is all very different. I think these like you
Yeah.
have to understand that and then like but also I love that you did it ahead of time. I think this is where
Mhm.
people can have a wonderful life is if you can advocate for yourself, but do it ahead of time and then that way you're not like, "Ugh, can't believe this restaurant isn't taking care of me.
I know, yeah, exactly, and, like, yeah, there's a certain place we go to, the chef knows me, I go into the server, she knows me now too, but I'm like, "Just let the chef know that it's the girl with a lot of the allergy restrictions," and he'll come out and he smiles, he's like, "I knew it was you." But, like,
Yeah.
he gets it, right? Like, he's really accommodated us for that, so it's he's yeah, I found a way to kinda live, and at first too, it was like, "Okay, I guess I'll have the salad because at least I can put the dressing on the side," but yeah, it's all a learning curve, and I think too, people shouldn't be so hard on themselves, like, if they're hearing me talk about spinach. I eat spinach, by the way. I'm just saying there's some people out there that are like, "You will die if you eat spinach."
Oh my God.
And you have to get really in tune with, like, how does it make you feel? If you eat spinach and you're like, "I feel like garbage afterwards,"
Mhm.
you should probably stop eating spinach.
I would have brown rice because some people would tell me it's healthier than white rice, and guess what, you guys? It has arsenic, and it's actually not so awesome. For me, especially because I have a hard time breaking down lectin, and so I was telling
Mhm.
my fundamental health doctor friend, and I said, "Oh my god, every time I make this one bowl, it has veggies, it has protein, it has all these things, but, like, I just feel exhausted after I eat it," and she said, "What's the base?" I said, "It's brown rice," and she goes, "Switch it to white rice." So I
Mhm.
switched it to white rice, fine. Like,
Yeah.
I just couldn't break down the lectin. And so but also we're all very different, and I think where I hope people are getting permission here is, like, figure out what works for you and do the best you can, and then we can have, like, what you do so well, Megan, which is, like, finding balance, you know? Like, I think where a lot of people are getting confused is they're going, "Oh, this person says this, but this person says this, and what should I do?" It's like, "Well, what felt good to you?"
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, okay, you have a kiddo. Life has
Mhm.
totally changed. I for the moms who are listening, like, how have you been? Because you focus on you to kinda get you here, and obviously, when they're an infant, and it's a different story, but how are you making sure you're still focusing on you while raising this kiddo?
Well, I was just talking to a girlfriend about this literally this morning. So I was lucky enough that I live in Canada, by the way. It's cold most of the time here. He's a summer baby, thank God. And so when I first brought him home, like days old, right away I would just go out and get sunlight. That was like my
Mm,
self-care moment with him. I would keep him skin to skin on my chest. We'd go outside. And to me, like it felt so good to get the vitamin D. For him, it was really good. And I had been really active my entire pregnancy, knew that I wanted to kind of get back into that afterwards, but I also was really mindful about giving myself grace. I had a really hard labor and delivery. And so it wasn't like I was even able to kind of get up and like walk around
right.
the next day. I kind of followed ish the 555 rule, which if you don't know, it's like 5 days in the bed, 5 days on the bed, 5 days around the bed. It's not a perfect science. Day 4, I had to take him to the doctors for a checkup. But that was kind of like my mentality. It was like, I'm just going to be in the bed for the first little bit with him. My husband had dragged out like the futon to the living room so I could watch a TV show if I wanted. And that was kind of like the first 15 days for me. It was just really focusing on that. And then it started off with just going out on walks afterwards.
Mhm.
These were not hour-long walks. Sometimes they were up and down the street, and that was it. I knew I really wanted to set my son up for healthy habits for his life.
Mhm.
And so really right from I got the clearance. So I got usually you get clearance at like week 6
Mhm.
for getting back into your fitness routine. It was week 9 for me. I literally got in a car accident like a month before my son had been born and
Oh
stuff
my
too. So
god.
it took a little while for me to recover. Um, but as soon as I was able to, like, he would go in the swing next to me while I did like my pelvic floor exercises and I did 10 minutes of yoga. And he's almost 2 now. Like I work out with him or do yoga or Pilates 5 or 6 days a week and he's there with me. I put toys around, I have snacks out for him. Sometimes it takes like an hour and a half to do like a 40-minute class because he needs constant snacks now. But he sees me doing that, and
Yeah.
he knows in the morning when the weights come out, like, he even rolls out my yoga mat for me now. He has a little
Aw.
set of weights that he can use to and he does his squats with me. And even before we do our workout together, I do a Wim Hof breath session, and he goes bananas for that. Like he runs into the room, he's like, "Wim, Wim, Wim." And I put him on the bed and he sits with me. He watches the screen, which
Mhm.
I'm sure somebody's like, he's too young to look at a screen. You know what? It's Wim Hof. So he
I
like
think
because he likes
everything in
it does like this
moderation.
breathing thing.
Yeah.
And he just sits there. And sometimes I'll even hear him going, like he
Yeah.
tries to do it.
Yeah.
And yeah, some days it doesn't happen exactly how I want it to. But I would say for the most part, like he knows the routine. He knows that this is important to mommy. And I will even tell him, this is mommy's time now. You can stay here and play with me, but this is we're doing mommy's thing first. And he's like, okay.
I love this. First of all, I love that you are honest about like a 45-minute class might take an hour and a half. We had a guest on, also lives in Canada.
Yeah.
She married in. They have 5 kids. And she said, actions are caught, not taught. And she's like,
Hmm.
our kids see us we're making our movement practice a priority. And they don't have to do the movement practice, but they don't get to tell us we don't get to do the movement practice. So it's like, we're going to
Hmm.
go, we work out in the morning, we do a walk. You can come with us or not. We're going to go do this. Then we're going to go do this. Then we will do these things with you. So if you
Hmm.
don't want to wait to hang out with us until then you can come with us, right? And so that's her big thing is that kids really pick up on that. And I think it's really important because of course they have needs and there's other things they need, but like if you can find patience and you can give yourself grace to take 45 minutes take an hour and a half to do a 45-minute workout, then as they get older, look, he's rolling your mat out. That's so cute. We have OPC members whose kids know the sound of my voice and they'll like be on the ground next to their mom. They're like, oh, I could roll like a ball. Like I can do it, and like that is so important. And if they're on screen learning healthy stuff versus being babysat, there's a very big difference. So I'm all for that. But I just really thank you because I do think that so many people are like, oh, I need to have complete alone time and then I can work out. And it's like, there's no perfect day. Like I barely have, I don't even have kids, but I used to have 3 dogs and they have to go at different times. Like, okay, hold on, let me let you out. Okay, yep, oh, now you want your food. Okay, here's like, so like I've pre-made all the bowls and then they come. So like even my own workout would be interrupted. I don't even have children, so it's like, how can we prep the area, prep the scene, prep the people in our lives for what we're about to do? And then how can we take advantage of what we can do? And then be kind and know that that's good enough for today. And I think I never heard the 555 thing. Of course, every mom listening probably is like, come on, Lesley. But that's so interesting because I do think that I had a girlfriend who had kids and she's like, I really didn't think that 8 months after pregnancy, I would still be trying to get my core strength back. And she
Hmm.
went to it as a trainer and like all these things and postnatal. And she's like experienced it for herself for the first time. And it's like, yeah, everyone is different. We're all different and we have to know that and take our time getting it back.
Yeah. Yeah. And I will like I have one child. Someone's like, I have 3 or 4 or 5 kids. Like, maybe you don't have the luxury of doing the 555 right away after, but it's also like little things for a postpartum. Like it's nice to get the bassinet and the clothes for the kiddo. But I had people meal prep me a bunch of things. That was part of a postpartum gift. And someone bought
Mm.
me cleaning services for like 4 or 5 different times. I utilize that so I don't have to get out of bed or off the couch and
I
take away
love
from
these
my
gifts. Why aren't people registering
I
for
know.
this? Because I see the registrations. I had a girlfriend and we are like late to the party on like buying the I'm like, oh, now we're down to the things. This kid's not going to wear this stuff. And I was like, we're not getting any of these things. We're going to get some dinner gift certificates to restaurants near her house that can deliver. Like that's what we're doing
Yeah,
because
that is
I
yeah.
refuse to buy clothes. This kid is going to be born in the summer, be naked the whole time. No.
Mhm. Yeah, no, that was my whole thing. Like, my kid lived in a diaper for the first, like, 4 months, and we got so many hand-me-downs. I was like, I'm not spending money on clothes that
Yeah.
kid's gonna grow out of in 2 weeks." But, yeah, like, the dinner thing, if someone is ever like, "I don't know what to get a postpartum mom," food or cleaning services you will be their favorite person in the entire world because you don't wanna be cooking or cleaning after watching it. You just wanna be able to pick up a phone or dial Uber or whatever and just say, bring me food.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So Kiddos too, your business had to change, it sounds like, from what you were doing before him to now what you're doing. What is the be it till you see it that you're working on right now? Like, are you wanting to add more things back? Are you trying to enjoy what you've got? Like, what's the thing you're most excited about right now?
I really wanted to get back to basics. For me, when I first started yoga, I was like, this has changed my life so profoundly. I want to teach others how to do the same. And so I had done like a manifestation meditation teacher training and a meditation teacher training. And just as you kind of want to grow or new things happen to you, I kind of got caught up in what everyone else was doing and thought I should be doing the same thing.
Mm.
And I was thinking of this the other day and I was like, I really want to get back to basics. It's probably not going to happen right away for me, just realistically with a little guy with allergies. But I really want to get back to I literally before the world shut down, I did Costa Rica yoga retreat and in before 2020. And I loved it. It was
Mm.
I love to travel. I love yoga. I was like, this is an amazing blend here. I really want to get back to doing retreats again. I- In an ideal world, I would love to do like 3 to 4 a year, but I also kind of want to do some weekend ones. I'm a mom now. Like, it's not realistic for me to pack up and say, see you for a week while I go to Cyprus. But I could probably figure out how to get away for a day or a weekend
Yeah.
retreat. So that's important to me. And just to kind of teach people the basics. Again, everybody's seeing all these like cold plunge things, sauna things. Like, I want to teach people how to get into meditation. You can meditate in 5 minutes a day and
Okay,
change your absolute life.
let's talk about teaching how to get into meditation. I would love to go there because I do think like, yes, of course, as a cold plunger, yes, all these things, but I will say like a lot of this stuff is advanced. It's advanced
Mhm.
biohacking, it's advanced like things in a fitness. We all just have to get people moving, but also like my husband the other day, it was like a head like feeling like he had something hit like in his chest and I was like, "Oh, have you like meditated?" And he's like, "No." And I was like, as if I meditate every day. So, let's talk about the basics of meditation because I think people think it's a little more difficult than it is, and I think they don't think they have time. So,
Mhm.
what are the basics? How do we get started?
Super big. I always tell people, like, truly, what type of person do you think you are? If you have a movement practice, are you a morning or an evening person? Sometimes people are like, I'm up at 5. I do my workout after. Perfect. Okay. So if you're an evening person, let's just dedicate 10 minutes, right? We're not going to do 10 minutes of meditation, but let's just dedicate the 10 minutes at the end of the night to what feels good to you. And that's another thing too. Do you feel like I can't close my mind down, but I can listen to somebody tell me what to do? Perfect. A guided meditation is where we're at. Maybe you're more of like I just feel like I need to actually physically do something besides just listen to somebody talk. Do a breath work type of meditation where you kind of have to use your head to count things out, but
Mhm.
it's also tangible, like you're actually doing this breathing
Yeah,
thing,
your whole
which
body's
yes, you're doing
activating
while
it.
you're meditating, but
Yeah, yeah, but no,
like it
I
doesn't
understand. Mhm, yeah. When you
yeah,
if you do a
it
Wim
doesn't
Hof, guys, it's like it is full belly, full lung, full it's like really in it's very kinesthetic.
yes, and it's like some people need to be guided. Sometimes people like I just sat in 30 minutes of silence. I'm not at that point. I very rarely did things like that when I was doing meditation. And if it works for you, great. Like if you're like I can sit there for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, however long and do that. Perfect. But I think it's more for the people that are like I know I should probably start where find a person even online that you resonate with. See if
Mhm.
one, they have meditations. And if they don't, who do they like to use? I have some on, free on YouTube and all that stuff too. But I'm always recommending my meditation teacher because she has the most soothing voice in the entire world. I absolutely adore her. And sometimes I don't want to listen to myself do it, or,
Oh, yeah,
I
no,
just
I
want to be
mean,
guided in a different way.
every teacher should have their own teacher.
Yeah.
I love this suggestion. It's like dedicate 10 minutes, it doesn't have to be 10 minutes. Do a guided. That's fi until especially if you're new, like, everyone listening here is like recovering perfectionist overachiever. We wanna know if we're doing it right. So, like, having a guided
Yeah.
meditation is really nice, and, like, I have an Aura Ring. You guys, in the Aura app, there are guided meditations and breathwork ones. Part of the thing, which is, like, insane. I was like, "Oh, well, I'm glad I'm paying for this." But also YouTube, like, you'd be surprised. Like the workouts have ads because those people want to get paid, but the meditations actually don't have ads during the meditation. So you can get an uninterrupted meditation for free. And it's true. Like find the voices that you like to listen to. I
Mhm.
love that.
Yeah. And it also, like when I first started, my first original, it was a yoga teacher who was trying to teach us to meditate. She was like, you absolutely have to sit up tall, spine is nice and long, cross legged. And then when I did my meditation teacher, she was like, that's not feasible for a lot of people. Get comfortable. Maybe that means lying down. Maybe someone's in a wheelchair and they actually can't physically like
Yeah.
move into a different position. Like it does not have to be this super rigid thing. You could, when your alarm goes off first thing in the morning, lay back into bed. Obviously, not into a point of you wanting to fall back asleep and stuff, but get comfortable, you know, without scrolling on social media. Go to like the podcast app has a bunch of meditations on it.
Mm-hmm.
Find one and listen to it there. I'm a mom. I get it. Sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes my meditation is literally while we're brushing our teeth in the morning. And that's going, so my son's also listening to it. And I habit stack it that way. If I could do breath work, working out, meditation like I used to pre baby, I would, but it's not a reality for me a lot of the time. So, you can habit stack it into, maybe you do it as you're getting breakfast in the morning. You're just listening and just dipping your toes into the water that way.
Yeah. Actually, I like all the permission there. And I think it's like meditation doesn't really require perfection. I think a lot of people make it more difficult than it is. Are you able to just be mindful? Oh, I had a thought.
Mhm.
Okay, now I had another, okay, there's another thought and another, like they're just clouds, right? Like it's actually not as we make it seem like we have to have the clearest mind, we have to sit perfectly still. I haven't sat perfectly still in an interview. I've had my legs crossed. I have my legs on the table now. Like it's a whole thing. Like we're not like that's just not who we are. So we have to like what is possible for us and then like be kind to
Mhm.
ourselves and then start using the tools that we have. And I really appreciate you sharing that. I think that's really great. And I do like the idea of what you're wanting to do next, which is like going back to basics with people because especially as your little one is getting to be more independent, you'll have more time. There'll be people who also need to go back to the basics and start there and you rebuild a foundation because you're a new person. We have
Mhm.
to, I think like the idea that like I've always hated the word like bouncing back when that's what like shoved into mothers' lives. Like you're gonna bounce back. You're never going back. None of us are going back. We're always going forward. So how do we take the new chapter that we're in, the new book, and like create what is the scene and the setting that's going to be the best for where you're going and then when your kid goes to school that's a new transition and then like when they're in high school it's a different like there's all these different things and so what I love about your journey Megan and like what you've shared with us is just like this idea that like what is possible be kind to ourselves and then like little by little it's a long journey but you're going to get there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I people always, like, roll their eyes when they hear, but it really isn't about the destination, it's about the journey. Or, I've also heard people say, "Well, the time's gonna pass anyways. What are you gonna do with it? You might as well do something that makes you feel happier, brings you a little bit of fulfillment, gives you purpose, brings you joy." And for me, this is what I
Mm,
love this stuff. I was just saying to my husband, like, I love listening to podcasts. I love watching documentaries. To me, this is not boring. I don't find it like roll worthy. I enjoy it. And sometimes I listen to things I'm like, I don't resonate with that person said. I know I keep harping on spinach, but like I'm going to keep eating spinach as long as I feel good eating it.
yeah.
And other times, like we were just talking about too, sometimes you hear something on a podcast and it just, for whatever reason, it just clicks with you that, and you make a change from brown rice to white rice, and all of a sudden you feel 1,000 times better. Like
Mhm.
to me, I love learning how can I optimize myself to be a better version of how I was
Mhm.
than yesterday.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, and it comes in little changes, not big ones, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, if we look at how corporations make big changes, it's like years in the making. I remember working at a corporation and they're like, "Okay, you're in February, they're gonna do the women's locker room. And in March, they're gonna do the men's locker room. And in April, they're gonna do this room. And it's gonna take a year to
Mhm.
remodel this gym little by little so that it's on the new branding. And I was like, "You're gonna take a year? Can't you just shut down for a week and just do the whole thing?" No, like, why don't they do that? Because you actually like the gym is like a body. It's an organism itself. It's got its own season, its own routine, its own thing. And if you disrupt the whole thing and you shake it up, you actually don't really see what worked and what didn't work. You don't learn from mistakes. And so, like, we all can go, okay, I'm just going to switch out the rice, or I'm actually going to keep the spinach. I'm going to heat it up, or I am going to work out and I'm going to pick a 30-minute class in this hour and a half time that I have. And I'm going to see how long it takes me. Oh, wow. It only took me 45 minutes. Great. Wonderful. Like, I think like it's just being okay experimenting and then reflecting and refining. I really appreciate that permission you gave us, Meghan. We're going to take a brief break and then find out how people can find you, follow you, and work with you. All right, Meghan, where do you hang out? Where can they go back to the basics with you?
Yeah, if anyone wants to follow along with me, you can find me on all the places: Instagram, YouTube, TikTok at Balance by Meghan, Meghan. My podcast is Balance Your Life, which you will also be a guest on, and your episode will release soon. And yeah, those are the places that you can connect with me.
Wonderful. Okay. You've given us a lot, but bold, executable, intrinsic, or targeted steps people can take to be it till they see it. What do you have for us?
I think you have to just, whatever is calling to you right now, whether that's starting a new movement practice or starting a meditation practice or taking one food item and swapping it for something healthier, whatever's resonating with you, not what you see online, follow that intuition of yours and just run with it, go with it. Don't make it complicating. Start with a 10-minute yoga flow. If yoga feels called to you, maybe it's Pilates. Just start and see how you feel. Give yourself some time too. Like, this isn't like a one day thing. How did I feel? If you were excruciating pain, that's one thing, but just start and just let the magic unfold and see what happens for you.
I like that. Just start with one thing and then take your time. I think that's so key. I mean, I know we all want things to happen faster, but they actually happen. They happen faster, more slowly. Like, they really do. Wonderful. Okay, you guys, we want to know how you use these tips in your life. What's the one thing that you start? What's the meditation that you liked? Share it with Meghan. Share it with the Beit Pod, because hey, especially the meditation things you're liking, we'd love to share those out with people. And share with a friend who needs to hear it. Maybe you have someone in your life who's going through something and they need to hear, like, there's light on the other side. And the journey is long, but it's worth going on. And we would love for them to hear that from us and from Meghan. And until next time, be it till you see it.
That's all I got for this episode of the Be It Till You See It podcast. One thing that would help both myself and future listeners is for you to rate the show and leave a review. And follow or subscribe for free wherever you listen to your podcast. Also, make sure to introduce yourself over at the Be It Pod on Instagram. I would love to know more about you. Share this episode with whoever you think needs to hear it. Help us and others be it till you see it. Have an awesome day.
Be It Till You See It is a production of the Bloom Podcast Network. If you want to leave us a message or a question that we might read on another episode, you can text us at +1 310 905 5534 or send a DM on Instagram at BeItPod.
It's written, filmed, and recorded by your host, Lesley Logan, and me, Brad Crowell.
It is transcribed, produced, and edited by the epic team at Disenyo.co.
Our theme music is by Ali at Apex Production Music, and our branding by designer and artist Gianfranco Cioffi.
Special thanks to Melissa Solomon for creating our visuals.
Also to Angelina Herrico for adding all of our content to our website. And finally, to Meredith Root for keeping us all on point and on time.